and welcome to today's reading. Today we are using Knowledge, a Very Short Introduction by Jennifer Nagel, and we are on page 50. And as always, all of the books or decks that are used in my readings are linked in the description box. So if you want to check out any of the materials we use today, you can go down there and see that. The Causal Theory of Knowledge. Walking into your neighborhood bakery at the end of the day, craving a muffin, you are happy to see what looks like a full basket of muffins in the display case. Thank goodness they haven't sold out, you think to yourself. What you don't know is that the basket you are looking at is strictly decorative. The muffins you see are plastic fakes, attractively arranged to make the display case look good, and left there day and night, whether or not the store has muffins available. As luck would have it, there are in fact a few muffins left in the bakery, out of view, on a shelf under the counter. Your belief that there are still muffins in the store is true, and, assuming that the plastic fakes are very realistic, justified. But do you know, on the basis of seeing the display case, that the bakery has not sold out of muffins for the day? So this is an interesting topic, and it's something that I actually was considering this morning and last night. If you are someone who practices shadow work or understand that term, you may know that there are shadow reasons for things that we do in our lives. And what this means is that we will make decisions based on a reactivity to a past trauma, essentially. For example, if you are someone who is hyper independent, that reasoning behind being independent you consider to be freedom, but in reality, the shadow reason that's really driving you is you don't feel you can trust anyone to have your best interests at heart, and so it's safer for you to do things all by yourself. Now, the conscious reason for you being hyper-independent in this example is freedom. And in a way, it is a form of freedom because at one point you were trapped by other people's inability to see you and provide for you, and you liberated yourself by learning how to provide for yourself. Overall, there's no real issue with what you're doing or the way you're doing it, and it doesn't seem to be harming anyone. But because the way you're choosing to do this thing in reaction to something, it's no longer a choice, it's a coping mechanism, it's a way to bypass needing other people. Now, many people are operating in this way in every area of their lives. This is the concept of awakening. It is taking those aspects, those decisions, those choices that you're making and making yourself aware of them and making them conscious choices. However, most people are not at that point, and I'm getting that this is kind of where you are. You're starting to get into this place where you are making conscious decisions to do things, even if they look like reactions. You're choosing to react in a specific way. There is something that you're doing, though, that you think is very good for you or that you identify with strongly. And you'll know what this is either because it's right there in the front of your mind and you've been questioning it for a little while, or if you think about it, it's something that you want to avoid associating with this. That avoidance is an indicator of sorts that that thing is hiding. So for you, you might have a specific personality trait or something that you call a personality trait or a specific way of living or carrying out a part of your life that you consider yourself to just be different from other people or just be this way for whatever reason, but there's no conscious choice behind it. It's something that often isolates you in one way or another, and you may feel a sense of lack around this thing. But as I was saying, you can be operating in this way, and it can look just like the life you are meant to live. It can look like alignment, but in reality, it isn't. To use the hyper-independence example again, you could be someone who is hyper-independent. You make your own money by running your own businesses that you only work with yourself on. You don't have any employees, and you live alone, and you do all of your maintenance yourself, and you never ask for help for anything. And when people offer help, you say no, or you get offended, or anything like this that isolates you from other people's involvement in your life. You may even get a lot of praise for it, like, wow, you're so amazing, you're so strong, you're so on. And deep down in the core of you, that may actually be in alignment for you to be independent in this way. And so you can get some reinforcement that this is the right thing for you, because it really does fit in with who you are and the way you are. However, there's a difference between being in alignment and being in this shadow state of reactivity, and it is that it will isolate you. It will cause you to lose connection. It will cause you to feel lack. It will feel hard. It will feel like a struggle. It may even feel like you have no other options, and not in the way of, wow, this is the best option for me, but literally that you have no other options. I think a lot of people can do this because they know how to figure out what's right for them, and they can simulate the experience, but they don't actually embody that experience. And I think that this is much more common among people who identify as spiritual, because they can look at themselves and know what's right for them, but not necessarily know how to do that. It's kind of like expecting your life to be amazing once you buy a Chanel bag, or once you get that fancy car or a specific job title, rather than seeing the root of what that feeling is, rather than seeing the actual cause, rather than these symptoms or byproducts of that exalted life. Now you know where this channel's name came from. It's almost like you're living an image of it. It's not the same. It's not as fleshed out. It's not full. It's like seeing an image of someone rather than meeting them in person. It is them, but it isn't fully them. It is just a representation of them. So I'm getting that this is a position that you're in right now, and you may feel like, I've done all of this work, I've done all of this spiritual work, I'm living my dream life, but I'm just not feeling quite right yet. And maybe you've been questioning this dream of yours, or questioning yourself. And I think that rather than changing your whole life around, it's time to look inward again and discover what it is that's driving you to make these decisions. Is it that feeling of bliss and joy and interconnectedness to all things and all people? Or is it the need to run away from them in some way, to keep yourself at a distance from them in some way? And what you can do, if you decide that it is a shadow reason, and what you discover that shadow reason is, you may find that continuing to live in that way is actually the healthiest option for you right now. Again, using hyper-independence as an example, you may realize that you need the space right now from people, from others' involvement in your life, in order to understand who you are, to hear yourself better. But rather than living your life in this way, not knowing why, and expecting it to be fulfilling, you'll know that, yes, this is the life I believe I want to live. However, the reason I'm living it this way right now is because I want to give myself the space to facilitate my self-discovery. Alternatively, you could see that, yes, this is my dream life right now, but I forgot to experience this other thing. So even though this is what I ultimately want to be doing, I need to go and experience this thing that I lacked before and then come back to this life in order to be fully present for it. I hope this reading resonated with you. Let me know in the comments if it did, what's going on in your life, what's happening with this situation. Like the video if you liked it. Be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and turn the notifications to all notifications so that you get updated every time I upload a new reading. But until next time, bye!